What if you were walking home and some random stranger came up to you and said, which Wii game is better, Twilight Princess or LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga? Well, I have 4 people here who have been thinking about just that for such a long time, and they are ready to let loose. We have Pat Nat, Shrimper Lake, Mr. Dean, and Tom Peeler, all here ready to argue the merits. I am the host with the same shirt as always, Mr. 3D Spoders, your moderator for today, and we will be discussing 15 minutes on the clock, of course. Fellas, no time to waste, let's get started.
As the resident old, can I just drop something here? November 2006, I'm waiting in line for the Wii. It's my 18th birthday, and I have chosen to freeze in the cold outside of Walmart to get a Wii. And the reason I'm punishing myself this much is because the Zelda game that my entire age group, my entire generation has told ourselves we always wanted is launching with this console. Twilight Princess was all anybody in line was talking about. It is probably one of the most anticipated and demanded games in Nintendo history, and I'm a little mixed on it just being here. I know that's shocking. It's probably one of the most expected games to end up in this bracket, but a kind of refrain I always say is it's the Zelda game I wanted the most in my life, and it's also the Zelda game I never have the energy to want to replay. What do we think of that?
Oh, I would love to comment on that. First of all, beautiful opening statement. I love that.
Really set the scene with the imagery. Right. I love that. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's funny is going into this, I just happened to know that Tom Peeler is also a big LEGO Star Wars Complete Saga fan. So I was really wondering what his opinion on Twilight Princess would be, because I was like, if anyone could show us that this is actually a closer matchup than people realize, it could be Tom, because I know how much he likes LEGO Star Wars. Not to say that I necessarily agree that Zelda shouldn't be here, but I would like to also add that Twilight Princess has some super high highs and some super low lows, right? While the Complete Saga is a little bit more of a consistent, like A- to B+ all the way through, right? So for those who are thinking like, why are we even talking about LEGO Star Wars in this discussion? I want to remind you that Twilight Princess, it's got some like wacky stuff in it, right? Just to kind of aid what Tom said. Also, I love Twilight Princess, and I definitely think it should be here.
Well, and Twilight Princess, I know it's kind of a common talking point, but the opening to that game is pretty kind of long and boring. So
rough. It is
whenever we're talking about those first impressions that the game gives you, it doesn't really stick that well with the player. And I like that you immediately opened it up with how anticipated Twilight Princess was whenever it came out. Because if we're looking at historically with the Zelda franchise, we had Wind Waker right before, and although Wind Waker now is a pretty loved game, whenever it first came out, that was not the case.
Very mixed. At the time.
Yeah, and this was kind of seen as like the quote-unquote true sequel to like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, like leading up to its release. So I think in a way the importance of Twilight Princess is probably bigger. If you were to hold a gun to my head and tell me you have to sit down and play one of these games right now, my answer is LEGO Star Wars. Like the main reason I'm stuck is because I think Zelda is the more significant game here, and it holds a more like important role both as a Wii game and just within its franchise itself. But which game I would rather play? Probably LEGO Star Wars.
Yeah, like Twilight Princess, it holds a lot of significance and value and importance within like the Zelda series, while LEGO Star Wars, it's like we have had so many LEGO games that have come out with a very similar structure. And while Complete Saga is often considered one of the best, if not the best LEGO adventure game, you know, the amount of significance and value that Twilight Princess brings, even with its shortcomings, is what makes this like a little bit of a tough discussion, because in terms of just raw fun, I'm having more of that in the Complete Saga. But in my head, best game doesn't always necessarily mean the funnest game. Fun is a huge contributing factor, but there's a lot of other factors that Twilight Princess brings to the table. Right?
Games are not meant to be enjoyable, famously.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
okay, well,
Shrimper Lake, do you have any takes on Twilight Princess?
As a kid, I was really into both Lego and Star Wars. You would think Lego Star Wars would be like my favorite thing, the game, but I actually never had it. I played it a little bit, but oh my god, Twilight Princess is so much better. It's not even close in my opinion. Like, I don't know, Lego Star Wars to me, a lot of people really like it. I just think it's another Lego game, honestly. And Twilight Princess is just so good in my opinion.
I can't disagree with Andrew in the sense that even though I had such a big connection to the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga, it's worth mentioning that there's not only been Lego games before and after, 2 of the Lego games before have a lot of the same content that's in this game, right?
But I think another important way to look at this like viewpoint of how good of a game Lego Star Wars is how good of a game is it versus how good of a Star Wars game is it? Because I'm sitting here, I've watched all the Star Wars, like the Skywalker Saga movies multiple times. I wouldn't say I'm like a diehard fan, but I enjoy the source material. So that immediately makes me more interested in playing the game just because it's a Star Wars property. But for any of the, I guess the rare people that have not seen Star Wars, is this a game that's gonna stick to them as much? Because being that this game is built upon like the framework from the movies, there's probably a lot of moments in the game that they might not emotionally resonate with as much, because I think part of the fun, in my opinion, of playing Lego Star Wars is you get to kind of like pretend like you are playing a role in this universe. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, is that game gonna still, you know, latch onto you as much as someone that is a Star Wars fan?
Fair,
Yeah.
completely fair. Reach into my bag of tricks from last time, if I may. Which of these games actually exemplifies why the Wii was such a unique console? They're both in a weird situation of existing elsewhere. You know, you could have gotten Twilight Princess on the same day on GameCube, and while Twilight Princess did use the Wiimote to have a lot of its controls and mechanics play incredibly well, sword play, fishing, all that, it worked well and it still holds up.
Yeah.
You could do the same stuff with a GameCube controller. And to be honest, like, I played the Lego Star Wars collection on the Xbox 360 when I experienced it for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have an immediate strong tie to this game on the Wii itself.
No, you are so wrong though about Zelda, because on the Wii they flipped the map. Like that's such a big difference.
Does that matter? I mean, because you're not playing both the GameCube and Wii version. So
No, I was joking. No.
Oh,
I'm so used to it being flipped.
right. I can't even look at the GameCube version like Let's Plays or anything because I'm like, oh no, that's wrong. It's in the wrong spot, right?
Yeah.
Which really bothered me about the Wii U remake. The Wii U one used the
Yeah.
GameCube like flip, and in order to do it the other flip, you have to do like master mode. So I'm like, I guess I'm playing hardcore when I play this one. Hey spotters, why isn't Super Mario Galaxy 2 or Wii Sports Resort in this bracket?
Well, I don't know, Pat. It's your series and you made the bracket. But I'll tell you anyway, we are going to be discussing them in an exclusive, special members-only video. If you like this season of Bracket Breakdown with all the Wii games and you want a little bit more, all you have to do is become a member of the channel, and we will see you there in the bonus episode.
I remember playing Twilight Princess, trying to watch like walkthroughs when I was stuck, and they would always be on the Wii U version, and I would have to like flip everything in my brain.
Okay, wait, that's actually that made me think of a question that could be relevant here.
Go for it.
I've never played the remake on the Wii U, but does the remake on the Wii U kind of make the original obsolete?
In a way, yes, it eclipses the original because they do have quality of life changes. It's generally a lot faster paced, which is great. They let you skip more things than you can in the Wii one. Also, I think they just genuinely upped movement speed. I could be wrong, but when I was playing through it recently, I felt like I was blazing through it. But what I do want to say is that like every game is a product of its time, right? So I usually put less influence on future installments in like remakes on the original, because when Twilight Princess came out, what it was compared to was something like Wind Waker and Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. And in terms of just evolving the Zelda structure compared to the previous entries, they were able to capitalize on a lot of things that the previous games didn't fully flesh out just because they weren't there yet. I think a big thing for me is like narrative and characters. Twilight Princess has like probably the best characters in all of Zelda, right? You learn about the people of Oradon Village, you learn about the people in Kakarika Village, you understand their connections with each other and different emotions they have for each other. You know the family trees of whose kids are who in Oradon Village because you're constantly saving them, right? And I think that's something that Zelda does so well in this game specifically, is that it like takes that level of dread that characters have in like Majora's Mask, except for expands it into a full narrative. Like these characters feel like fully developed characters. Everyone talks about Midna and they talk about Zant, but even just village NPCs, like you start to care about a lot of them. They have that G.I. Joe mercenary group. It's just got such good living characters. It doesn't feel like Link versus evil. It feels like Hyrule versus evil. Like everyone's working together to fight this desolate thing. I'm spinning off of many topics right now, but I get excited when I talk about like the highs of Twilight Princess, but the lows they're definitely there too. It's not just the beginning that's slow. They throw sluggish portions very frequently throughout the game, where for like an hour at a time, you'll just be like going somewhere, like walking, traveling. They give you methods of fast travel and riding a wolf and riding a horse, and it still takes like 8 hours before you actually can access that stuff fully, which is ridiculous. And they have like 4 different Hyrule fields, which is insane.
It's a big time sink to get to good stuff.
It's like in order to get to the good stuff of Twilight Princess, you're expected to sit through a lot of the downtime. And that's what I really like about Lego Star Wars. Mr. Dean was saying, you pick it up, you play it, you're having fun, and you're having fun pretty much consistently. The only like sluggish areas to me is like maybe some of the top-down space battle sections, but for the most part I will play for an hour and I will have fun through that whole hour. And that's not even getting into all of the way Lego Star Wars handles collectibles, which is really good, the mass amount of characters that's fun to go into replay, the custom characters, how nice it is to mix the 2 Lego games together, how it's not just a re-release of the 2 games, like they actually build off each other. But that I'm sure will be discussed a lot more in further brackets and whatnot. I don't want to eat up all of our time here.
I think Lego Star Wars is like I'm not saying this to like put Lego Star Wars down, but it's more of like a kid's game. Obviously Twilight Princess is, and I feel like that just makes it like harder for a wider crowd to enjoy, because it definitely is geared towards a younger audience.
Okay, but I'm not even necessarily saying that I agree with this viewpoint, but I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate to what you just said. Some would argue that the Wii as a console was marketed towards a younger audience. So would that make it a better Wii game?
Yeah, that's another question, right? It's like it's not only a game for younger people can play, but it's also a cooperative experience. You know, I had a lot of bonding time with my siblings just playing this game, and that's not something you can get with just any game. I mean, we had quite a few of them, but Lego Star Wars is a very specific long-term adventure cooperative game that has a very low bar of entry, to where even like my sister who doesn't play games, she would be happy to play that anytime.
Did Lego Star Wars on the Wii have Wii specific features? Like, how did you play it? How did you play it?
So very little. Basically, if you wanted to swing with your lightsaber, you could shake, but also if you shook your controllers fast enough, you could build things quicker. Very minimal, not actual great usage. But that's a great point towards Twilight Princess. Using your bow and arrow in Twilight Princess feels so good. Every time, like playing it even today, I'm just like, oh, I can't imagine doing this with the stick. This is so much fun with the Wii remote. So much fun, they made a whole spin-off game based on that one mechanic, right? Which is just pretty awesome.
And we all love and remember it. Yes, our favorite Zelda.
If that was on this bracket, at least I would say, hey, 100% of the time you're playing it, you're having fun. Like, it's a fun
even though
game,
that's only for like 45 minutes, but
even though it's only 45 minutes, but it's not here, and rightfully so. But
And if I don't cap us off at the next minute, we might end up going to 45. So, fellas, get your last thoughts in.
dude, how is he this good at this? Like, the way to TLDR this matchup is Lego Star Wars is I don't want to use the word safe, but it feels like a more just like consistently like, you know, just fun game. Whereas Zelda Twilight Princess is much more of a statement, and it is much more ambitious as a game, where the highs are higher and the lows are lower.
Right.
Well said. Well said.
It's big swings. Sometimes it missed. Sometimes it hit home runs. Right. It's a big package.
Oh, I feel like which one I'm gonna vote on is gonna come down to just like whatever pops out of my mouth whenever I'm asked, because this is tough. I don't know.
Just ask yourself, what would the comments say? As we all should, as very credible debaters.
No, but like,
here.
I can't bow down to the comment overlords. Like, come on.
I'm just judging.
But it is time for us to tell the commenters what we all thought of this this discussion and how we're gonna vote. Tom has some really interesting colorization in there, especially with like the imagery of waiting in line, and then to immediately follow it down with having it be a letdown.
Twilight Princess, look, I loved it at the time, and there's a lot of great stuff in that. Pat and Dean and Andrew all made excellent arguments about its characters, its importance, and its lore, and even I understand it. I know how big of an impact it made when it came out. You know, that trailer alone with Miyamoto at E304 broke the internet. But over time, I think Twilight Princess has really fallen down the rankings of both Zelda games and, in my opinion, Wii games.
He's actually not even sure if it should be in the bracket. Tells me where his mind is. He goes back to the usual argument, which game is better for the Wii, because Zelda uses the Wii mode, but it might as well be a GameCube game. But then I thought, is that so is the Star Wars game? It's basically a compilation of GameCube and PlayStation 2 games anyway. Pat says that Twilight Princess has super high highs and super low lows, and that became sort of the topic of conversation for a lot of the debate today.
I love the world of Twilight Princess. I love the emotion the characters feel, the narrative that they go through. It's got slog, and this slog that you have to basically wait to get to the good stuff. It's not padding is the thing, is that it's slog that is still building up the world and building up the characters. You don't feel like it's necessarily filler. It's just periods of bad gameplay to get to the good stuff. My camera went out. Whatever, I'll fix that in a bit.
He says that Lego is a done and tired, solved game loop, but it is more raw fun. Shrimper Lake says that not blinded by nostalgia since he played these two recently, he would go to Twilight. And says that Lego is more of a kids game, but Dean disagrees and says that the Wii was targeted toward kids, so does that make that a better Wii game?
I think I personally would rather play Lego Star Wars more often. This matchup was weirdly kind of difficult. Whenever I was reading this over, it kind of reminded me of like Barbie and Oppenheimer as movies coming out on the same day, you know, just two completely different styles and just like, you know, moods.
He has some really good points about Twilight having a long first impression and said that if a gun was held to his head, he would be playing Lego. But is it a good game without Star Wars knowledge?
It's really tough because I genuinely care a lot about both of these games. I played a ton of Lego Star Wars growing up. I also played a good amount of Twilight Princess growing up. Part of the thing that's making this difficult is that in the back of my mind, I know that most of the experience of Lego Star Wars Complete Saga, I could have experienced with the previous two games on the GameCube and other games of that era. While the Complete Saga is the better culmination of the two, and I like the way they mix the two games together and how it's not just a re-release, they have mixing together, there's some custom levels that aren't in the previous games, and that's great. And the cooperative experience is unlike any other. I love all that about Lego Star Wars.
The statement that was made with Twilight Princess within its respective IP and just the overall scope of everything that's inside of that game, good or bad, just makes me feel more drawn to it, even though I have to be more in a particular mood to play the game.
This one is a little baffling, and I gotta be honest, what I'm voting for is just, I'm voting for the game that I think is gonna be easiest to eliminate later in the round. Lego Star Wars, to me, that's too much of a multi-console remake and not a unique enough Wii experience for me to want it to advance. So I'm going to almost backhandedly vote.
All right, come on back, everybody.
Good now.
All right. Let me hear the votes, and let's make it official. We're gonna go down the list. Pat Nat.
My vote is for Twilight Princess, even though I love both.
All right. Tom.
My vote is for Twilight Princess. Let's see how it does in the future.
Dean.
My vote is also for Twilight Princess.
And Shrimper Lake.
I am no different. It's Twilight Princess.
Wow, I was not expecting a sweep. I felt like a lot was going toward Lego. That's where my tiebreaker was gonna go.
We were fighting our hearts the whole time, I think is what it was.
I mean, you were giving them a lot of credit and not a lot of credit toward Twilight Princess, but you ultimately saved it with your votes. I want to know if the viewers were as blindsided as I was, and they will have to see how Twilight Princess does in the future of this bracket. Speaking of the future of this bracket, we have plenty of more interesting games yet to come, and we have covered plenty of interesting games in the past. Feel free to watch them in whatever order you want to. They will all be here on the fabulous Pat Nass YouTube channel. That is right. Well, he has the YouTube channel, but all right, we can probably cut this part out. All right, everyone.